Welcome to another Montreal Canadiens post-game show with Johnny G of Barely Onside. I hope you guys are doing okay. Tonight was a rough one, a 4-3 loss to the hands of the New York Rangers. It's Saturday night in Montreal. A loss was the last thing that we wanted to see, but it happens. The Montreal Canadiens are coming off a 4-game winning streak. They could not make it 5. 4 is pretty good. 5 would have been better, but tonight there was no magic. We saw magic in the last 2 games, but tonight there was no magic. It was close. Montreal did make a game of it late with a huge goal by Noah Dobson to make it 4-3, but that was the final. Okay. Now, before we get into the game itself, let's just talk a little bit about the injuries, the lineup. Caden Gooley out 4 to 6 weeks. Another injury for Caden Gooley. It seems to be a recurring theme every single year. But the one thing I do like about Gooley is he usually gets back early. And he never misses a beat. He comes back and steps right back in and is the same player he was before the injury. That's what we usually see from Caden Gooley. So as much as it sucks that he's hurt because he's a big piece to the defense core in Montreal, I'm sure he'll be back fast, and I'm sure he'll be just as good when he re-enters the lineup. Doc and Line, they're injured day to day. No clue what the injuries are. I didn't really look into it. But that meant that Joe Veleno finally got into the lineup and they called up Owen Beck to play his first game of the season. Again, they're day to day. Obviously, I've liked Kirby Doc. I feel like Doc has had a really good start to the season. He scored a goal. I'm not sure how many points he has, but I mean, from a guy coming off two knee injuries, surgeries, and all the rehab that he's been through, um, I kind of like what he's done so far through 5 games. But again, he's day to day. Patrick Laine, you never want to see a guy get hurt, but there's a good chance for Joe Veleno to get in, take his spot, or take, or Owen Beck, whoever, whatever that is. But I like the way they played tonight. I like the way Joe Veleno played. I liked Owen Beck tonight. Pretty solid game by both of them. But let's get to the meat and potatoes of the game tonight. And I don't want to be critical. Not that kind of guy. Well, maybe I am. Maybe I am a little bit. But Sam Montembeault. Okay, we'll start there because this guy has been driving me nuts. He made a lot of good saves tonight. Like a lot of really good saves. But he also let in some weak goals. 4 goals on 22 shots. Okay? They weren't all his fault. But on the first goal, the Zibanejad goal, could have had it. On the Matthew Robertson goal, the one that gave the Rangers the lead in the third period, that was a shot from the point, and there was no traffic. It was a clean shot from the point. There is no reason, like zero reason, why Monty couldn't have made that save. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay? That killed Montreal's momentum. Okay? That he needs to be better. On the Panarin goal, I mean, it's Panarin. I understand that. He had a clean look, but come on, make a save when it matters. I am not happy with the way Sam Montembeault has played tonight and the way that he has started this season. In 4 games, he's 2-2, but with a goals against of 326. 326. And a save percentage of 856. A save percentage under 9. That, my friend, is not good enough. You are supposed to be the number 1 goalie, yet you're playing below average. And that's not going to cut it. The Montreal Canadiens are a good team. And this team is going to take some big leaps this season. But we cannot have inconsistent goaltending like Sam Montembeault has been giving us. It's not going to end well if he can't get his shit together. Okay? And I mean, Jakub Dobish has been playing well. He's been pretty consistent in his 2 games that he's played. He's looked really good. So Sam Montembeault, if you don't get your, if you don't get it together, Jakub Dobish is coming for your job. Okay, and I think the fan base at this point is starting to lean more towards Jakub Dobish than Sam Montembeault. We know we have Fowler in the system playing in Laval. And in a year or two, he's going to be ready to go. So, Sam, if you want to stay on this team, if you want to be part of the Montreal Canadiens, you have to get it together because Jakub Dobish is hot on your tail. And I suspect when the Montreal Canadiens face the Buffalo Sabres on Monday, we could see Jakub Dobish. And if we do, I think it's a wake-up call to Monty, right? I think it's a wake-up call because usually he gets 2-3 games in a row before they go to the backup. But we saw last game a lot Monty, Dobish, Monty. So there's a good chance that we're going to see Dobish against the Sabres. If Monty had played well tonight, he would probably be in net against the Sabres, but that just wasn't the case. You need to be better, Monty. You need to be better. Okay. We'll move on from the negative and we'll talk about some of the good things that did happen inside this game. Nick Suzuki finally scored his first goal of the season. He now has 8 points through 6 games. It had to be weighing on him a little bit. He's been playing great hockey. So it's not a matter of him not playing well. That's not it at all. He's been actually really good through the first 5 games prior to tonight. Another good game by Suzuki, but it's always good to score your first goal of the season. I could only imagine. So I'm sure he's feeling a lot better about himself tonight, though they did lose. And as the captain, I'm sure he's not happy about the loss. But getting the monkey off his back, getting his first goal of the season, it had to be a good feeling. And Noah Dobson, same thing, scored his first goal, not only of the season, but as a Montreal Canadien. And we've all been waiting for it. And he's got 3 points in 6 games. Kind of a slow start statistically for Noah Dobson. But overall, I really love his play. I think defensively, that's where I'm the most surprised. Just talking to New York Islanders fans, not only would they say that, he's not a physical guy. He's 6'4", over 200 and some pounds. Like, he should be physical, but he's not physical. But they also said he's kind of lazy on defense a little bit and, can make some mistakes here and there. But I have to say, so far, Noah Dobson has been extremely solid for me. I like his play. And in the last couple of games, you're starting to see him, show off his offensive skills a little bit more than we saw in the first few games. So that's a good sign. So to see him score tonight, a classic Noah Dobson goal from the point, a nice wrister, you got to love that. So congratulations to Noah Dobson. You know what? Last time, I assumed that Uri Slafkovsky scored that goal against Chicago, and I ended up being wrong. So I'm just going to double check and make sure that they did give that to Struble. They did not. Okay, well, this can't be right. Here we go. Okay. Yes, so Noah Dobson did score his first goal tonight. Sorry about that, but I had to check because when I was wrong about Uri Slafkovsky, I went to bed feeling not great about it. So anyway, so Dobson scores his first goal as a Montreal Canadien. So that's good to see. Slav scored his second goal of the season. That's good. Got the, he scored the first goal of the game. And it was a beautiful 2-on-1. Cole Caulfield with a pass over to Slav. He buries it in the empty net as Jonathan Quick tries to get over in time, but just can't. That's obviously good to see. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everything was looking so good, right? The first two goals after Slav scored, Nick scored. It looked like it was going to be a really good game for the Montreal Canadiens, and then it just kind of turned. But that's okay because I want to talk about Ivan Demidov. Okay, Ivan Demidov, he kind of got off to a slow start in the sense of like he's still, just kind of having a hard time, with the physicality and just kind of, I don't know. He was just kind of, it just took him a little time to warm up, right? He looked like a rookie. You know what I mean? Because we all want Demidov to come in and be a superstar right away. We want him to drive a line. Those kind of expectations, but I mean that just wasn't the case for the first few games. But I'd say the last 2-3 games, more so just tonight and the game against Seattle. Not Seattle. Who did they play? Who did they play last game? Man, of Nashville. They played Nashville, and so the game against Nashville, the game tonight, I thought Demidov was awesome. And you know what? He did have a good game in Seattle as well. So 3 straight games where Demidov is playing really, really, really well. And that's good to see because it's not easy. I think he's a 19-year-old coming into the NHL, his first full season. It's not easy. It can't be easy, right? And a kid with so much skill, he obviously wants to show that off, but there's so much more to the game, than showing off skill, right? It's a lot harder to do in the NHL, but it feels like he's finally breaking through. And once that happens, I mean, watch out because I think tonight the Demidov line kind of solidified themselves as the number 2 line, especially with the injuries to Doc and Line. But you could just tell, right after the first line of Nick Cole and Slav, Demidov, Kapanen, and Newhook would come out. And that shows me that that's the number 2 line. And as good as Newhook's been, because he has been good, Kapanen too had a good game, scored in Nashville against Nashville on Thursday. It's been a good line, but you're starting to see Demidov emerge. Okay, which leads me to my next point because he's playing so well. It's clearly, in my mind, the second line now. They need a second line center. They really do. They can't waste any more time not having a legit center for Ivan Demidov because, like I said, he's starting to break out. We're starting to see the player that he's going to turn into, and he needs help. I like Kapanen. I like Newhook. I do. There's no question about it. There's no doubt about it. But if Demidov could have a legit number 2 center, an established player who can really help drive his play and add offense, that's what the Montreal Canadiens need. But more importantly, that's what Ivan Demidov needs. That's what he needs. If we want to see the best version of Ivan Demidov, then the Montreal Canadiens need to go out, figure out a way, and get a second line center, a legit second line center, because it's going to help Demidov big time, and it's going to help the first line. Because if you look at the minutes of the other 3 lines from the beginning of the season, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but every time I look, their ice time is low. All 3 lines, right? So unless you're on the top line and you're getting a ton of power play time, those minutes for the bottom 3 lines are low. They're really low. But it feels like they're playing Demidov more and more. They're putting him on the ice more because he changes the game. He's a game changer, right? And as the season goes along, he's only going to get better. And it only stresses the point of needing a second line center, right? that could really help him take his game and the team to another level. So that's what I'm hoping. Noticing tonight in this game, and Marty does not like to do this, and I haven't seen Marty do this, okay, in the last few years that he's been the coach. But like late in games when you need a goal, why not try something new? He likes to stick to his lines, even when there's an opportunity for him to load up, and when you need a goal late in the game, why not load up? And what I mean by that is, why not play Demidov, who was one of the best players on the ice tonight? There's no question about that, right? He was one of the best players on the team, if not the best. So why not, when you need a goal and it's 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, why not put him on the top line with Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki to see if you can get something done? Right? I understand that Slav's a good player, and I understand he's on the first line, and I like it. Don't get me wrong. But the third period, especially, Demidov was buzzing. Imagine if he had line mates that could keep up with the way he played. And the two players that could do that, no problem, would be Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. So why not try it? Try Demidov, Caulfield, and Suzuki late in games when you need a goal. Why not? It reminds me of last season, like early on in the season, when it was like the Montreal Canadiens needed a goal, you know, and they're on the power play late in the third period. And it's like, okay, you can play Lane Hudson, Marty, now. Like, at this point, Lane was playing awesome hockey, but he was on the second wave of the power play because Mike Matheson wasn't coming off yet. Marty was going with Matheson. And it was just a few times early in the season where you're just like, this is a good opportunity to put Lane Hudson on the ice because we need a goal. But no, Marty just sticks to his lines, sticks to what he already has in place. But sometimes you got to mix it up late. I think Demidov on the top line tonight would have changed everything. Okay? But it's not my choice. It's not my decision. And that's sad because one day, I do plan on being the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens. I never coached a game in my life at any level, but I'm confident that I could. I'm kidding, of course. I'm never going to coach the Montreal Canadiens. But whatever, moving on. Okay, so a second line center for Ivan Demidov, that would be great. So Kent Hughes, if you could get on that, thank you very much. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on was Arbor Jack Guy. I love the way Arbor Jack Guy played tonight. I thought he had a really good game. So did Struble. I thought they were really good tonight. But I was extremely happy to see Arbor Jack Guy stick up for Lane Hudson because Sam Carrick gave him a pretty good ride into the boards. A little too hard, if you ask me. Right? And Sam Carrick, he's that kind of player, right? He's a tough kid, plays hard, takes no prisoners. So Lane Hudson obviously doesn't get hit a lot, but when he does, he probably feels it. He's not a big guy. I love Lane, how he turned around and tried to give it to him back, put him onto the ice. But to see Arbor Jack Guy stand up like that's just perfect, right? Like when I saw that guy nail Lane Hudson, I was like, oh, who's on the ice? Who's with him? It's probably Struble. But then when I saw Jack Guy, I was like, okay, this is gonna happen. And then all of a sudden the cameras cut back and there Arbor Jack Guy going with Sam Carrick. I don't know if Arbor won this fight. I'd say no. Sam Carrick is sneaky tough. That's for sure. I'm pretty sure that was the same player who was in Edmonton a couple of years ago. Where did he go? think he went to Detroit for a little bit. But anyways, good. Always good to see Arbor Jacki drop the mitts, but more so sticking up for your teammates. I've always been, for me, I do like fighting. Like I like that part of the game, but not really stage fighting. I don't really care for it. Even when like Jacki fights like Olivier and Delorier and all those kind of guys, like it's kind of fun to watch. I mean, Rempe was a little different because he was brand new and fresh, and I just wanted to see how he'd stack up against him. But I like reactionary fights. That's what I really like. When someone, you know, like tonight, when Carrick hits Hudson into the boards a little too hard, Arbor jumps in. That's the kind of fighting that I like, that I appreciate, that gets me excited. Okay, so anyways, but next up, Buffalo Sabres on Monday. Buffalo, watch out because Buffalo has been playing better. I think they've won two in a row after dropping the first three games of the season. I think they beat 8-4. I think they beat the Ottawa Senators 8-4, I believe. And then I think they beat Florida today 3-0. That could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So the Buffalo Sabres are not going to be an easy team to beat. So they're going to have to be ready. But it begs the question, is it Sam Montembeault back in night on Monday, or are we going with Dobish? Let me know what you guys think, because if it was up to me, I'm going Dobish for sure. Like, not even a question. Especially it's only two games, like 1 day off. Why not put in Dobish? Monty, you did not play good enough tonight. And that's why you don't deserve to play on Monday. Dobish will be in the net. Anyways, thanks for listening. I appreciate all the support. Hit the subscribe button. That will help out a ton. And also follow me on TikTok at Barely Onside. Have a good night, you guys, and we'll see you on Monday.